Okay guys, so we're gonna look at another punctuation lesson today. And today here I have written down 3 different addresses, and we're gonna look at what we need to punctuate in our address. Everything's capitalized, but let's take a look at the punctuation. So here, the 4344, this is the street number. So this is the Botanical Gardens address here in St. Louis. So that's the street number. This is the street name. Here is the city name. Here is the state. And here is the zip code. When you are sending a piece of mail, it has to have all 5 of these parts of the address: the street number, the street name, city, state, and zip code. So let's look at what we need to punctuate in this little address. So 4344 Shaw, now this says BLVD. Do you guys know what that stands for? That stands for Boulevard. So instead of writing out the whole word Boulevard, what they've done is they've shortened it. This is called an abbreviation. So we have to put a period after abbreviations. So there's Boulevard, Road, Street, Avenue, Court, Circle. There's a couple different ones. So we need a period at the end of our abbreviation. Now let's look at the city, St. Louis. Now St. Louis is unique in the fact that it actually has an abbreviation in it. This ST means saint. So I got to put a period there. Now, there's one other thing that we need to do. We need to separate the city from the state. And we do that by putting a comma, okay? St. Louis, Missouri. And you do that every time you write the name of a city and a state, not just in addresses. If you were writing a story that said the little dog lived in St. Louis, Missouri, you would still put a comma between St. Louis and Missouri. Now, MO stands for Missouri. It is technically an abbreviation. You can put 2 periods after each of the letters, but technically you don't have to do that when you're writing a letter. And then there's no punctuation here in the zip code. So let's look here. This is the address to the City Museum. 750 North 16th Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63103. So let's look here. The number, we don't need to do anything there. North St. Louis Street. Now this doesn't say all of North, does it? It just says N. So this is an abbreviation. So we're going to put a period at the end of the abbreviation. North, East, West, South, Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest. Okay, those are abbreviations for directions. So North 16th, and look, here's this abbreviation, street. I'm gonna put a period there. Now I come down here. We know that St. Louis, Saint is an abbreviation. So I'm gonna put a period there. Then we have one more thing to do. We have to separate the city and the state. So let me take green and circle the things we added. We added a period at the end of our abbreviations, and then a comma between the city and the state. Okay, now I have this one. This is the St. Louis Aquarium. So we have our street number, then here's the street name, South 18th Street. So we know South, the S is an abbreviation, and street is the abbreviation. Come down to St. Louis, abbreviation of Saint, and then we need to separate the state and city. So we did our 3 abbreviations, and then we separated the state and city. All right, so January 1st is a holiday. So punctuation, luckily for dates, is relatively easy. You just have to separate the day of the month and the year with a comma. Sorry, it's a really ugly comma. So the day and the year with a comma. Day, year, separate it with a comma. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. It's just like we're separating the city and the state from one another. We're separating the day of the month and the year. Okay, that's pretty much it. So what I want you to do is practice writing down some dates, maybe practice writing down some addresses. It's really good for you to memorize your birthday, and it's really good for you to memorize your home address. If your home address isn't memorized yet, I want you to go ahead and do that. It's extremely, extremely important, okay? So yeah, that's the end of my lesson. Next week, we're gonna be looking at punctuating letters, and both dates and addresses are used in letter writing. So it'll come in handy that we've already done this work. Okay, you guys, thanks for all your time. Talk to you later. Bye.